Emergency alert! There's been a catastrophic containment breach at the facility. Section F has completely collapsed.
What the hell? How did that happen? Are you still on site?
A massive explosion obliterated the main pipeline system, and now the growth hormone tanks have ruptured and are leaking into the surrounding swamp. I'm sending footage now.
Dear God, were there any casualties?
Several researchers are missing, so maybe. But that's not our biggest problem right now. Look at this.
That can't be real. Are those mosquitoes?
Yes, found them less than 30 minutes after the breach. The growth acceleration is extremely rapid.
How big is that specimen?
Almost 10 inches in length, and it's still growing.
No, that can't be. Even with the GH7 formula, the growth shouldn't be this exponential. Let me run some comparative analyses.
Who else knows about this?
Just us for now. But military containment units are already en route. ETA 45 minutes.
You need to get out of there, Eliza. They'll lock down the entire facility. No witnesses.
I know. I'm just gathering as much data as I can before I leave.
The government are already creating the cover story. Just intercepted this from DoD servers. Ecological incident, natural causes is the header.
Those bastards.
I've completed preliminary analysis. The hormone is mutating in the wild. Growth rate is exponential. If this continues, we could see specimens reaching the size of large birds within days.
This is my fault. I signed off on the GH7 formula despite the instability warnings. I never thought it would.
We don't have time for guilt, James. We need to act.
I'm accessing the security protocols now. There's an emergency exit through the North Maintenance Tunnel. I can override the locks remotely, but only for about 3 minutes.
That's enough time. James is with me. We'll head there now.
This is Captain Rodriguez, establishing the Emergency Response Communication Channel. All team members, please confirm receipt.
Officer Wilson confirming.
Dr. Okafor confirming.
Park confirming.
Green confirming.
Bryant confirming.
We've received multiple reports of wildlife anomalies along the eastern seaboard, focusing primarily on coastal areas from Florida to Virginia. But we're now getting similar reports in New York.
Can you be more specific about these anomalies?
Mass deaths of birds and small mammals, extreme blood loss with minimal external trauma, and reports of unusually large flying insects.
We've had several patients come into the ER with similar symptoms. Extreme anemia without visible cause for blood loss. Initially thought it was an outbreak of some new blood disease, but the puncture marks are way too big for just an insect to make.
Keith, what's the situation in the city?
Well, I just came from Central Park. Found at least a dozen dead squirrels and birds. Same symptoms, extreme blood loss. And look at this. Whatever did this was big enough to kill a goddamn bird of prey.
I've started mapping potential breeding grounds across the city. Standing water, drainage systems, subway tunnels. If these are some kind of mutant mosquitoes, they'll seek out similar environments to normal ones, just on a larger scale.
The hospital cases are also concentrated in the same area, so there's clearly a correlation.
Do we have any visual confirmation of these insects? Size estimates?
Harbor Patrol spotted something unusual near Battery Park last night. Initially thought it was a bird, until it saw the abdomen. I'm sending the footage now.
That can't be what I think it is.
If that's a mosquito, it's the size of a crow, maybe bigger.
Based on the footage, I'd estimate 10 to 12-inch wingspan.
We need to establish emergency protocols immediately. If these things are in the city, then we need to lock it down immediately.
We're clear of the facility. Military units have already established a perimeter. They're firing at anything that moves.
I've completed my analysis of the specimen growth rate. It's worse than we thought.
How much worse?
The hormone isn't just affecting size. It's accelerating reproductive cycles and increasing clutch sizes. A normal mosquito lays about 100 to 200 eggs. These specimens could produce thousands.
I've been monitoring wildlife reports along the coast. There are already unusual death patterns appearing as far north as Virginia.
They're migrating faster than should be physically possible. How is that happening?
Their increased size gives them greater flight range and speed. They can cover hundreds of miles in days rather than weeks.
We need to warn people.
The government won't allow it. They're already containing information. Look at this. They're blaming the deaths on a seasonal bird flu.
I'm tracking unusual emergency room admissions. Major spike in anemia cases in coastal cities, and now appearing in New York.
New York? That's impossible. Even with accelerated migration, they shouldn't be there yet.
Unless they're following shipping routes or hitching rides on cargo vessels. The Port Authority wouldn't know what to look for.
We need to contact someone in New York. Someone who will listen.
More sightings coming in from harbor units. Multiple flying objects spotted near the piers. One officer described it as a mosquito the size of a seagull.
Any attacks reported?
3 more bodies found in Riverside Park. Same pattern of blood loss, but the wounds are larger.
Bennett Sinai has declared internal state of emergency, like cases in the last hour. We're running out of blood supplies for transfusions. Whatever these things are, they're killing us by the droves.
Well, luckily, I've managed to narrow down the locations of multiple potential nesting sites. The abandoned subway tunnels near the water are perfect breeding grounds. Warm, dark, humid.
I'm requesting immediate military assistance. This is beyond police capability.
I just received this from an anonymous source. This was taken in the city today.
That's a mosquito? It's enormous.
Are you saying this is what we're dealing with?
According to my source, yes. And they're growing larger.
If these things establish breeding colonies in the city...
Wait, look at this. Just captured this on a harbor camera.
Dear God, I'm initiating a total lockdown now. This is a code red situation.
Alert all personnel. These are not normal insects. Do not engage without proper protection. Conventional weapons may be ineffective against their exoskeletons.
They're already here. Are we screwed?
I've managed to decode some of the classified files from the facility, and my goodness, what was inside was absolutely abhorrent. The growth hormone wasn't just an experiment gone wrong. It was designed specifically for something called the Titan Project.
The Titan Project? What the hell is that?
A military bioweapon program. They were trying to create enhanced organisms capable of combating superfauna, specifically Godzilla and other known titans, which, might I add, the goddamn mosquitoes having been battling.
I mean, I'm not surprised. The government's been obsessed with developing countermeasures since the San Francisco incident.
So they decided to make giant mosquitoes? That's their brilliant plan?
No, the mosquitoes were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. The real targets were other species like crocodiles and anacondas.
Guys, I need to tell you all something. I wasn't entirely honest about my role in this.
What do you mean?
I'm ashamed to say it, but I authorized experimental DNA sequences in the final formula. Sequences specifically designed to increase aggression and predatory behavior.
You did what? Without consulting the rest of the team?
It was a direct order from the Pentagon. They wanted something that could actually fight, not just grow. I was told it would never leave the lab, though.
Well, that worked out great, didn't it? Now we have hyper-aggressive giant mosquitoes massacring the eastern seaboard.
This changes everything about my projections. With enhanced aggression coding, they won't just feed and breed. They'll actively hunt, even form coordinated swarms.
It gets worse. Latest satellite imagery shows they're congregating in major urban centers, especially New York.
Oh my God. How many are there?
Conservative estimate, tens of thousands, and growing.
No? What have I done?
Status report, all units.
Complete chaos in Midtown. I'm at Times Square. Multiple casualties. These things are everywhere. They're the size of large hawks now, and they're attacking in groups, targeting exposed skin, eyes, neck. Regular insect repellent is useless.
All hospitals in Manhattan are at critical capacity. We've lost 270 patients in the last hour alone. Blood supplies completely depleted. We're setting up triage centers and subway stations, but the mortality rate is climbing. These aren't your average mosquito bites. The anticoagulant in their saliva is supercharged. Victims bleed out within minutes.
I've been scanning the subway tunnels, and I found something horrifying. Those bright spots are nests. Hundreds of them. They're breeding in the tunnels. Warm, dark, standing water. Perfect conditions.
National Guard units are being overwhelmed. Conventional weapons barely slow them down. Their exoskeletons are too thick, and there are just too many.
Harbor evacuation has turned into a nightmare. People are jumping onto boats, but the mosquitoes are following them out onto the water. We've lost contact with 3 Coast Guard vessels.
We need to coordinate evacuation through the tunnels. Simon, which subway lines remain clear of nests?
Only the newest sections of the L line. Everything else is compromised.
Night is falling. God help us when it gets completely dark. They seem to be more active in low light.
Urgent update. The Pentagon has authorized deployment of the Zeus system.
What the hell is the Zeus system?
Experimental weapons platform, designed to combat titans and other superfauna. It's essentially a massive tank equipped with electromagnetic pulse generators, supposedly capable of disrupting the nervous systems of large organisms.
They're really deploying that thing in Manhattan? It's never even been field tested.
Well, that's certainly reassuring. The electromagnetic frequencies they're using, they might actually accelerate mutation in surviving specimens.
How is that possible?
The EMP is designed to disrupt neural pathways in large creatures, but in insects, especially those already affected by our growth hormone, it could cause rapid cellular regeneration and further genetic instability.
So you're saying this weapon could make things worse?
Potentially much worse. It might kill many of them, but the survivors could mutate further.
We need to warn them. I'll try to contact my sources at the Pentagon.
Will they even listen? They're desperate for a solution.
We created this problem. We need to help fix it.
Hold on. I'm picking up something on the global seismic network. Massive activity near Japan, off the coast of Tokyo.
Oh dear God, no.
What is it?
Those signatures match dormant prehistoric superfauna species, specifically Godzilla.
Are you serious?
The patterns are unmistakable. Godzilla is awakening.
Why now? After all this time?
The files suggested the King of the Titans responds to planetary threats. Therefore, our mosquitoes must have triggered something.
So you're saying Godzilla is coming to fight mosquitoes?
I'm saying something has gotten his attention, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
Military update. They're deploying something called Zeus, some kind of experimental weapon system. ETA to Manhattan is 30 minutes.
What kind of weapon?
Details are classified, but it's supposed to be designed for Titan-level threats. They're saying it should neutralize the swarms.
Will it affect civilians?
They're claiming minimal collateral damage, but they're clearing a 10-block radius around Times Square for deployment.
We can't move the hospital patients that quickly. Many won't survive transport.
The swarms are getting worse. They're forming patterns now, almost like they're coordinating.
Similar formations over the harbor. They're hunting in packs, like wolves.
This isn't normal insect behavior, even for giant ones. Something else is going on.
Everyone, I just received something disturbing from an anonymous source. The Zeus system might make things worse. Something about electromagnetic pulses causing mutations in surviving specimens.
Where did you get that information? That's highly classified.
Does it matter? If it's true, this weapon could create an even bigger disaster.
I'll try to contact command, but they're not likely to abort based on an unverified source. I'm getting reports from the military, by the way. Something massive has been detected moving toward the East Coast. Something that's setting off every early warning system we have.
What is it?
They think it's Godzilla.
My God, why would Godzilla come here? After all these years?
The mosquitoes, they must have triggered something.
So now we have giant mosquitoes and Godzilla? How is this helping?
If the reports are accurate, Godzilla has historically targeted unnatural threats to the ecosystem. These mosquitoes definitely qualify.
Either way, we need to prepare for an even bigger disaster.
Between Zeus, the swarms, and now Godzilla, Manhattan isn't going to survive this.
How do we warn everyone? How do we evacuate millions with these things everywhere?
We open every single bunker we can, and whatever happens next, we stand our ground.
The Zeus system is still inbound, and Godzilla is approaching. God help us all. Zeus deployment is underway in Times Square. Firing sequence initiated, pulse wave expanding. Oh crap, that can't be good. The smaller specimens are dropping, but the larger ones are still airborne. They seem agitated, more aggressive. Jesus Christ. They're attacking the Zeus platform and ripping it to shreds.
The pulse failed? How is that possible?
The exoskeletons on the larger specimens must be too thick. Zeus was designed for one big target, not thousands of smaller ones. They're overwhelming the crew.
All units, activate emergency evacuation protocol Delta. Zeus has failed. I repeat, Zeus has failed. Direct all civilians to designated underground shelters. Stay away from open areas and waterways.
Shelter 54 is the largest. Send everyone you can there. Current capacity is approximately 2,000 people. We have medical supplies and emergency rations, but we need security. The panic is making crowd control difficult.
I'm rerouting subway trains to transport civilians to shelter locations, but many tunnels are compromised.
It's absolute chaos in the streets. The failure of Zeus has created mass panic. People are trampling each other trying to escape the swarms.
Harbor Patrol reporting massive seismic disturbance in the bay. Water displacement patterns consistent with submarine movement, but much, much larger. Something enormous is approaching New York Harbor. It's him. It's really him.
I've hacked into Pacific monitoring stations. Confirmation of Godzilla's emergence. Trajectory puts him on a direct course for the East Coast. Estimated arrival in New York within the hour.
I don't understand. Why would Godzilla target these mosquitoes specifically? They're dangerous, yes, but hardly a planetary threat.
I think I know why.
What are you talking about?
The DNA sequences I authorized for the Titan project. They weren't just designed to increase aggression. They were extracted from dormant Godzilla cells.
What? You used Godzilla DNA in the formula?
It was highly classified. Only myself and 3 Pentagon officials knew. The theory was that incorporating Titan DNA would create organisms capable of fighting Titans.
Fools! Combining Godzilla's regenerative capabilities with insect reproductive rates? No wonder these mutations are accelerating exponentially. exponentially.
So the mosquitoes are partially Godzilla?
In a sense, yes. Very diluted, but yes. Which explains why he's drawn to them.
Titans are known to be territorial, especially regarding their own genetic material.
So Godzilla is coming to eliminate what he perceives as unauthorized copies of himself?
That's my theory. The Zeus failure makes more sense now, too. If these mosquitoes have even a fraction of Godzilla's radiation resistance,
Then electromagnetic pulses wouldn't affect them the same way. They might even feed off the energy.
Incoming video feed from New York Harbor, patching it through now.
All harbor units be advised. Extreme water displacement in progress. All vessels move to secure moorings immediately. Oh my goodness. He's here. Godzilla has entered New York Harbor.
All personnel. Operation Leviathan is now in effect. Direct all civilians away from coastal areas. Priority is the subway shelter network.
I have visual confirmation. He's enormous. Wait, the swarms they're attacking him. Thousands of them, covering his scales. He's fighting back. His dorsal plates are glowing.
All units clear the harbor area immediately. He's charging his atomic breath.
I'm at the 42nd Street station, directing civilians to Shelter 54. The ground is shaking from the battle above. How long will these tunnels hold?
Shelter 54 is at 60% capacity. We need more time. The injured are still being transported.
Simon, what's the structural integrity of the tunnels?
Designed to withstand minor earthquakes, but not a full Titan battle. If Godzilla steps on the wrong spot,
He's moving inland, heading straight for Midtown. The swarms are following him. It's like they're being directed.
The swarms are moving with purpose, not random attacks anymore. Something is coordinating them.
Teresa, how secure is Shelter 54?
Reinforced concrete, steel blast doors. But it wasn't designed for this scenario. No shelter was.
This is Director Kenzo Tanaka of Tokyo Defense Force. I understand you are dealing with a Titan incursion.
Director Tanaka, how did you get this channel?
We have been monitoring the situation. Tokyo has extensive experience with Godzilla. I am contacting your scientific team as well. The data we're sending may help you survive what's coming.
Thank you, Director. Any advice you can provide would be welcome.
Godzilla is not your enemy in this scenario. He is hunting the aberrations, but the collateral damage will be catastrophic. Your priority should be getting civilians to underground shelters, deep underground, and stay away from large concentrations of the mutated insects, especially any that appear significantly larger than the others.
Larger?
In previous insect mutation incidents, there has always been a queen, a central organism that controls the swarm. If your specimens have reached the sizes reported, the queen will be massive.
How massive are we talking?
Potentially larger than a commercial aircraft.
Dear God.
I've just been contacted by Tokyo Defense Force, Director Kenzo Tanaka. He's provided historical data on Godzilla encounters.
Tokyo would know better than anyone. What insights do they have?
I'm reviewing the files now. Okay, so according to their research, Godzilla consistently targets unnatural genetic anomalies, especially those containing Titan DNA. Our mosquitoes are essentially setting off every territorial and threat response he has.
Wait, the footage from New York, the swarm movements, they're too coordinated, too intelligent.
What are you thinking?
In normal insect colonies, there's always a queen, a central organism that controls the others. If these mosquitoes have developed a queen,
With Godzilla DNA, how big would it be?
I need to calculate based on the growth ratios we've observed and the time elapsed since the breach, but potentially larger than a commercial aircraft, or larger.
And Godzilla would be hunting it specifically. The queen would be the primary threat.
I'm scanning New York surveillance systems, looking for anything matching that description. Aha!
There it is, the queen, and it's even larger than I estimated. Where is it heading?
Checking positioning against city map. It appears to be moving toward a large civilian shelter. Designation Shelter 54.
Oh no, there are nearly 2,000 people in there.
And Godzilla is in pursuit?
Yes, he's following the queen directly.
We need to warn them. They need to seal that shelter immediately.
Teresa, this is urgent. We've identified a colossal specimen, much larger than the others. It appears to be heading towards Shelter 54.
How large are we talking?
Larger than a commercial aircraft. It's the Queen, the one controlling the swarms.
My God. And it's coming here?
You need to seal Shelter 54 immediately. Complete lockdown.
But we're still receiving injured. There are people in the tunnels.
If that Queen reaches you, no one in that shelter will survive.
Godzilla's in pursuit of the queen. He's cutting a path straight through Manhattan, headed directly for your position.
I can see the queen from my position trying to attack him. It's the size of a 747.
Beginning emergency shelter sealing procedures. God help those still in the tunnels. We have 2,237 souls inside.
The Queen is changing direction. It's heading straight for Shelter 54. Godzilla is closing the gap. They're going to collide again right on top of you.
The doors aren't closing fast enough. They need more time. My drone can only work so fast.
Teresa, you need to get those doors closed now, whatever it takes.
Godzilla's dorsal plates are glowing. He's about to attack.
The ground is shaking so hard. Tunnel supports are cracking.
Doors at 80% closed. Almost there. Almost.
Godzilla has the Queen cornered. They're right at Shelter 54. He's charging his atomic breath again.
The Queen is trying to escape. It's ramming against the shelter doors.
The doors are still at 95% closed. We need 30 more seconds.
You don't have 30 seconds. They're colliding now!
Oh God. Godzilla just slammed the Queen against the shelter entrance.
The impact has jammed the door mechanism. The doors are stuck partially open. Wait, something's happening. The Queen is leaking. Massive amounts of fluid pouring into the lower levels. The blood is flooding into the shelter. There are thousands of people down there.
Teresa, initiate internal containment protocols. Close all internal bulkheads.
The fluid is too fast. It's getting into the ventilation system. People are screaming. They're drowning in it.
I have the structural schematics. The ventilation connects all the main chambers. There's no way to isolate it. The blood will reach every corner of the shelter.
Godzilla has delivered the fatal blow. The Queen is completely crushed, but the damage is done.
Are there any containment measures we can activate remotely? Emergency showers? Decontamination protocols?
They're activating, but it's not enough. The substance is too viscous. It's sticking to everything. The screams. The people are... I can't describe it.
Teresa, stay with us. What's happening to the people?
The security feed is cutting out. But before it did, I saw people changing, their skin bubbling, limbs elongating.
The swarms outside are dropping dead. All of them. It's like they were connected to the Queen.
What about Godzilla?
He's returning to the harbor. His work is done. The abnormality has been neutralized.
All contact with Shelter 54 has been lost. Complete communications blackout. 2,000 plus souls unaccounted for.
I'm declaring a level 1 emergency. All personnel maintain distance from Shelter 54. No one goes in until we understand what we're dealing with.
The Queen has been neutralized. Godzilla crushed it against Shelter 54, but its blood has flooded the facility.
What's the blood composition? With the Godzilla DNA and growth hormone combined?
It would be extremely mutagenic, especially to humans.
How many people were in that shelter?
Over 2,000.
Dear God, what have I done?
The Pentagon is initiating a complete media blackout. They're classifying everything related to Shelter 54, calling it a contained incident.
There's nothing contained about this. If that blood has the properties I suspect, the people inside could be undergoing radical mutations.
We need to develop a neutralizing compound, something to counteract the growth hormone. Sanjay, we need the original formula parameters.
I'm sending everything I have now. But even if we develop something, it might be too late for those people.
I have contacts in the military. I can try to get an emergency response team in there with the neutralizing agent.
No one is going near that shelter. Pentagon has quarantined a 10-block radius. They're calling it a radiation zone to keep people away.
I'm going to try to hack into any remaining cameras in the shelter, see if I can get eyes inside.
12 hours since last contact with Shelter 54. Any updates?
Military has established a quarantine zone. No personnel allowed within 1 mile of the site.
I've been working with a scientist contact. They've provided a formula for a neutralizing compound, but we have no way to deliver it.
I've been monitoring structural integrity. There's been unusual seismic activity beneath the shelter. Micro tremors. Something's happening down there.
The swarms are completely gone. Not a single mosquito specimen remains in the city. It's eerily quiet.
Godzilla has returned to deep ocean. Tracking shows him moving back toward the Pacific.
Something's wrong. Military drones are scrambling over Shelter 54.
What are they seeing?
I don't know, but they've just elevated the threat level. All military personnel are being ordered to full combat readiness.
The seismic readings are spiking. Something massive is moving under the shelter.
I've intercepted a military drone feed, patching it through now.
Are those...
Yep, those are all the people inside.
What happened to them?
I'm getting fragments of military communications, massive biological anomaly, unknown morphology.
The Queen's blood, combined with human DNA. It must have created some kind of hybrid?
A hybrid of 2,000 people? And insect DNA? That's horrifying.
And with Godzilla DNA in the mix?
Hold up, more drone footage coming in. It's enormous, and it's changing shape, moving like some disgusting ball of crap.
Are those human faces I can see in its body?
The amalgamation must be incomplete. The individual human consciousnesses might still be partially intact, trapped within the collective entity.
That's monstrous.
Where is it going?
Checking drone trajectory. It appears to be... Wait, Godzilla has returned. He must have sensed the new threat. He's coming back to shore.
The entity is reacting. It's burrowing. It just smashed straight down into the ground.
Seismic sensors show it tunneling deeply, moving at incredible speed. Godzilla can't follow it underground.
It's evolving, adapting. The combination of insect burrowing capabilities with human intelligence and Titan DNA.
We've created something worse than the mosquitoes. Much worse.
Confirmed visual on the entity, it breached the surface briefly before Godzilla returned, then immediately burrowed underground.
What did it look like?
I can't even describe it. Partly human, partly insect, constantly shifting form, and massive, at least 100 feet tall when fully extended.
Those poor people, all those souls, merged into that.
I'm tracking its underground movement, using seismic sensors across the city. It's moving fast, heading west, beneath the Hudson River now.
I've implemented citywide lockdown, but if that thing resurfaces, conventional weapons would be useless.
Godzilla is pacing the shoreline, like he's trying to predict where it will emerge, but he can't follow it underground.
We need to track this thing, whatever it is. We can't let it disappear.
Seismic activity is fading. It's moving deeper. I'm losing the signature.
Hello, is this the American scientific team? Director Tanaka gave me this contact.
Yes, this is Dr. Patel. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Liam Nakamura. I'm in Tokyo. We have a massive problem.
Yes?
It's been 3 weeks since your incident, and now something that we believe to be from that tragedy has emerged in Tokyo. It looks like people, thousands of people, fused together like a skyscraper of death.
It crossed the Pacific in 3 weeks?
The authorities are evacuating the city. They say it's on a whole other level of danger compared to the usual superfauna we get, even in all our years of Titan encounters.
Can you send more images?
It's changing, evolving, growing.
It's adapted to the area. Incredible and terrifying.
The defense force is mobilizing, but they don't seem optimistic. They keep saying one word, amalgam.
The entity has a name now, Amalgam.
Holy Mother of God. So I've been looking through some recent project logs that I still have access to, and it looks like the company behind the original research authorized a second project, Project Nemesis.
What kind of project?
They're planning to capture the amalgam entity and inject it with more concentrated Godzilla DNA.
What? Are they insane? Haven't they learned anything?
They see it as the ultimate opportunity to create the perfect Titan countermeasure, a creature with Godzilla's power, but that can be controlled.
That's beyond irresponsible. It's suicide for the entire planet.
The entity is already unstable. Adding more Titan DNA could create something even Godzilla can't defeat.
Who authorized this?
It goes all the way to the top. Project Nemesis has presidential approval.
We have to stop them before they make things even worse.
How? We're scientists on the run. They're the combined military might of multiple nations.
We have something they don't. The truth and evidence.
They'll never listen. Not until it's too late.
If they succeed in injecting the amalgam with more Godzilla DNA, we might be looking at the end of human civilization.
Then we have to make them listen, one way or another.
This is Brigadier General William Stone. All Operation Wingspan personnel are hereby ordered to cease communications. Your interference threatens national security.
General Stone, your people just made the biggest mistake in human history.
Dr. Winehouse, you're referring to Project Nemesis, I presume.
You injected the amalgam with more Godzilla DNA? Have you lost your goddamn minds?
The situation is under control. The enhanced entity will give us leverage against all Titan threats.
There is no control here. You've created something worse than any Titan.
Your opinion is noted, Doctor, but we have the situation well in hand. Missile strikes are underway in Tokyo. The entity will be neutralized if it doesn't comply.
You can't kill it with missiles. You're only going to make it stronger and angrier.
This conversation is over. Any further unauthorized communications will result in your immediate arrest.
Stone just confirmed it. They've injected the amalgam with more Godzilla DNA, and now they're bombing it in Tokyo.
Idiots. Absolute idiots.
I'm getting live satellite feeds. The missile strikes have hit the amalgam, but I don't think they're working.
Well, what do you see?
It's changing, growing. The human elements are being consumed by the Titan DNA. Holy crap.
My God, it's becoming some sort of twisted version of Godzilla, a dark mirror.
I'm picking up massive seismic readings in the Pacific. The real Godzilla is responding. He's moving fast, headed straight for Tokyo.
This is going to be catastrophic. 2 Godzilla-level entities battling in a major city.
We need to find a weakness, something about the amalgam that we can exploit.
Like what? It has all of Godzilla's strengths now, plus human intelligence and insect adaptability.
The genetic structure must be unstable. That much mutation in such a short time, there has to be a vulnerability.
We need tissue samples from the original contamination site, Shelter 54.
I know someone who can help, an environmental journalist named Camila Ortiz. She's been investigating the shelter since the incident. Camila, I need your help.
Marcus, I thought you were in hiding with the rest of the whistleblowers.
I am, but we need something only you can get.
Is this about Tokyo, the entity that's transforming?
Yes, we need tissue samples from Shelter 54, from the original contamination site.
That entire area is under military quarantine, but I might have something already. I collected samples while investigating last week, before the lockdown got tighter.
That's perfect. Can you get it to Dr. Sanjay Patel?
I'll find a way, but you need to tell me what's really happening.
I promise. Full exclusive once this is over, if we survive.
The situation has escalated beyond our control. The entity has completed its transformation. And Godzilla has arrived. The battle has begun.
Director Tanaka, can you send us live footage?
Patching through our Defense Force feeds now. The devastation is utterly catastrophic. Neither will yield. And the amalgam entity is displaying abilities we've never seen before. It's injecting Godzilla with these disgusting tentacle things.
Christ. It has human intelligence, combined with Titan power.
They're moving out to sea now, continuing their battle across the Pacific. We've lost visual contact, but seismic sensors indicate they're heading east.
Back toward North America. They're coming full circle.
We will continue to track and report, but you must find a way to end this, before there's nothing left to save.
I've just received the tissue samples from Camilla, sending them to Sanjay now.
I'll begin analysis immediately. This might be our only chance to find a weakness.
I still have security clearance for some satellite systems. I can help track both creatures as they move.
Good. We need to coordinate with the emergency response team in New York. They need to prepare for what's coming.
I'll establish a secure channel. The Amalgam and Godzilla are moving faster than expected. Currently passing Hawaii, the battle is continuing underwater. Satellites are picking up massive energy discharges.
I've completed preliminary analysis of the tissue samples, and I've found something.
What is it?
The amalgam's cellular structure is highly unstable. The human, insect, and Titan DNA are in constant conflict. It's only holding together through continuous adaptation.
So there is a weakness?
Yes. If we can disrupt the adaptation process, the entire entity could destabilize, tear itself apart from the inside.
How do we do that?
Remember the neutralizing compound we were developing? A concentrated version could work. It would target the growth hormone that's keeping the mutation stable.
But we never finished developing it, and we'd need massive quantities.
Wait, Dr. Richard Frost. He was working on similar compounds before he retired, and his lab was at the original Everglades facility.
You think he might have stored samples there?
It's possible, and if the creatures are heading back to North America anyway,
we could lead them there, back to where it all began.
I'll try to contact Dr. Frost, see if he knows if any samples survived the initial breach.
And I'll coordinate with the emergency response team. We need to establish a battle plan.
All units, this is Captain Rodriguez. I've just received intelligence that both Godzilla and the mutated entity are heading toward the mainland.
Where are they expected to make landfall?
Current trajectory puts them somewhere along the eastern seaboard, most likely Florida. We're coordinating with Operation Wingspan on a containment strategy.
Haven't they done enough damage already?
They have a plan to neutralize the amalgam, but they need our help.
Whatever they need, after what happened at Shelter 54, we can't let that thing reach another populated area.
Military assets are standing by, but conventional weapons like the Zeus have already proven ineffective. What's the plan?
According to Dr. Winehouse, there may be a compound at the original Everglades facility that could destabilize the amalgam. We need to guide both creatures there.
Guide them? How do you guide 2 Titans?
The scientists believe the amalgam retains human intelligence. It can be manipulated, and Godzilla will follow it.
So what's our role in this?
Simon, we need your expertise on infrastructure to create safe evacuation corridors away from the projected path.
I can do that. I'll start mapping immediately.
Keith and Teresa, establish civilian safe zones as far inland as possible.
Understood.
On it.
Darius, you'll coordinate with military assets to position them according to the scientists' strategy.
Copy that. What about you, Captain?
I'll be the liaison between all teams. This is our last chance to end this. Let's make it count.
Yes, the compound exists. I created a concentrated version before I left. Stored it in a reinforced vault beneath the main lab.
Is it still there? Would it have survived the breach?
The vault was designed to withstand a nuclear blast. So yes, it should still be there. But you'd need the access codes and a way to deploy it.
Can you provide the codes?
Of course, but deployment is the real challenge. The compound needs to be aerosolized, and the amalgam would need to be in close proximity.
Leave that to us. We have a plan, but we'll need your guidance on handling the compound.
I'll help however I can. This is partly my responsibility too. We all played a role in creating this nightmare.
Update on Titan positions. They've reached the Another City, still engaged in battle. Current trajectory has them making landfall near the Florida Keys.
I've coordinated with military assets. They're prepared to herd the creatures toward the Everglades facility using targeted missile strikes, not to damage them, but to guide their path.
Dr. Frost has confirmed the compound is still at the facility, and he's provided the access codes. Now we just need a way to deploy it.
The facility's ventilation system. If we can pump the compound through it, when the amalgam is inside the main containment area, it should work.
I've located the facility schematics. The ventilation controls can be accessed remotely. If someone can get to the control room.
I've been in contact with Simon Park. He says he can do it if we can get him there.
This is our only shot. If we fail,
we won't. We created this. We'll end it.
I'm at the Everglades facility. Made it to the control room. Systems are damaged but operational.
Great work. What's the status on the compound?
Located and secured. Ready for deployment. Just waiting for our guests to arrive.
Military units report both Titans have made landfall. They're continuing their battle through the Everglades, heading straight for the facility. The herding strategy is working.
Civilian areas have been evacuated. Safe zones are at capacity, but secure.
Medical teams standing by, though I pray they won't be needed.
Simon, how close do they need to be for the compound to work?
Ideally inside the main containment area, where the original breach occurred. That's where the ventilation is most concentrated.
They're approaching the facility perimeter now. Godzilla is driving the amalgam back, straight toward the main building.
I'm ready. Just give the word.
They're here. Simon, deploy the compound.
On it!
The aerosolization needs to reach maximum concentration. Keep them contained as long as possible.
The amalgam is thrashing wildly. It seems to be affected already, but Godzilla is also in the containment zone.
Will the compound affect him too?
It shouldn't. His DNA is stable. The compound targets mutation instability.
Satellite imagery showing massive energy discharges. Godzilla is charging his atomic breath.
The amalgam is changing, destabilizing. I can see human forms separating from it, but they're not surviving the process.
Those poor souls.
Godzilla has delivered a direct hit. The amalgam is collapsing. It's disintegrating.
The compound is working. The unstable DNA is breaking down.
Godzilla appears injured, severely wounded, but still standing.
Is it over?
The amalgam is completely neutralized. Nothing but organic residue remains.
Godzilla is struggling. He's been wounded badly in the battle.
He needs time to heal. Judging by his condition, he would ordinarily retreat to a radiation source. I don't know if he has the strength to make it there.
The facility. There's a massive nuclear storage container in the lower levels. Simon could release it. Give Godzilla the radiation he needs to heal.
Accessing containment protocols now.
Simon, we need one more thing. Godzilla is badly injured. He needs radiation to heal.
The nuclear storage unit? You want me to breach it?
Yes, it's the only way. He saved us all. We owe him this.
Understood. Accessing containment protocols now. Radiation containment released. It's working. His wounds are healing. His dorsal plates are glowing. He's gonna be okay.
The world deserves to know the truth. All of it. I'm releasing every file, every record, every piece of evidence we have.
The government will try to stop you.
Let them try. The truth is more important.
Godzilla is recovering. The radiation is healing him. He'll survive.
And return to the ocean. Back to whatever passes for peace in his world.
Until the next time we humans make a mess of things.
The company behind the original research is finished. The public outcry has already begun. No more bioweapons. No more playing God with genetics.
At what cost, though? Thousands dead. Cities in ruins.
We remember them. We honor them. By ensuring this never happens again.
Godzilla is leaving, heading back to sea.
Humanity owes him a debt. Again.
Nature always finds balance, even when we try our hardest to disrupt it.
So what now?
We rebuild, we learn, and maybe, just maybe, we become a little wiser.
The files are released. The truth is out there. What happens next is up to humanity.
Let's hope they make better choices than we did.
They will. They have to. The alternative is extinction.
And Godzilla won't always be there to save us from ourselves.